Good morning, afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cycle. It's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. Welcome to week 2 on the South London Network. We're going to try and cram 4 in this week because I don't want to leave one stray scenario kind of hanging out there, and I don't want to limit myself to 2 on such short scenarios. So we're going to try to cram all 4 of these in here this week. Should be easy to do. We're going to start with this outer southern service. This is going to be the first of the remaining 4, 5, 6 scenarios. We're going to be following tomorrow with stoppage at the bridge, which is right here below it. And then after these 2 scenarios, now we're going to move back to the top of the list. We're going to pick up the Hastings diversions and winter trouble scenarios in that order. Those are 2 shorter scenarios for the middle of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday. And I figured that's a good time to stick those in. So we're going to go with that. We're going to have these longer ones on the weekend for you to sit back and enjoy. And then we'll do the short ones during the week when you don't have time to watch as much. It's not often it works out that way, but it does this week. So we're going to do that. So outer southern service will be our first scenario today. This time I am going to go ahead and give you a tour of the Class 4, 5, 6 locomotive. We're going to have to do another tour when we get to the Armstrong Powerhouse one because there are going to be additional buttons on that one. But for right now, let's look at the very simple tour of the default 4, 5, 6 included with this route. Let's get started. Okay, so let's get started on our tour of the Class 4, 5, 6 loco. I'm going to show you later why I'm sticking with this view and why I'm not going to the wide view for this. You're going to probably laugh at this just like I did. I don't mind the train leading next to me. We're going to hear that when the scenario starts as well. So very, very quick summary of where everything is. We're going to start over here on the left, which is on this side right here. This is the train brake. We know what the train brake does. It does have its settings, and it does, that's actually the throttle. I don't want to use that. So we want to use, that's not working either. Why is the train brake not working right now? I'm a little puzzled by that. Probably because the reverser is not set. There we go. That might be why. There it is. That's the train brake. We didn't want to move while the reverser was not set if your neutral didn't want to go, but apparently it is now. So there's a fully released brake, and there's your brake all the way up here into an emergency notch. You saw it went up there for a second, then went back. So we're not going to be using the emergency notch naturally. We're going to be staying where it is. And then as soon as you want to go back into, you can move it again as soon as you're in there. So basically, the whole design is that the brake does not work while the reverser is neutral. As long as it's in a full service setting, it will not move while you're in neutral. If you are out of neutral, you move the brake off, naturally you're going to be able to move the brake. Well, no, you're not. You're going to go just automatically back to full service. So the brake does not work while you're in a neutral setting. It only works while you're actually in a movement possible setting. Let's keep that in mind. So the wipers are located right above that. In fact, I'm going to zoom in on the buttons right here. Here's the, I think it's, this is the switch right here in the center. That's the headlights. What am I talking about? That's the headlights. Apparently they don't work by the button, which is very strange. Oh, because okay, I'm not sure. Because I was trying to hold it down, that's why. Wow, okay. It looks like the tail light setting has the same straight up move, and the tail lights just come on automatically. I don't get that, but you want to have it in this setting because that means your headlights are on. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to turn on the headlights. The cab lights are located right underneath. I believe that shortcut works. L turns that on. You can see the button moving as well. When I push the L button, you can also control that by hand. These switches to the left do not work. Next to that, we have the instrument lights, which turn those on, obviously. Now, I is supposed to do that, but it doesn't work on this locomotive. The I shortcut does not work. So that's one of the things I believe the Armstrong model does fix. It turns on the instrument lights with the I button. We'll look at that when we get to that train. The AWS reset should be somewhere, actually it's right underneath me. What am I talking about? There it is right there. Of course, that works with the Q button as well. You don't have to actually push the button with your mouse. That does work. The driver's reminder appliance is functional on this train. It's way up here, so you can turn that on. When you have a red signal, you're supposed to turn that on. We have a green, obviously, so we'd be good to go. But if you have a red signal up ahead, you're supposed to turn that on. It means the train will not apply power. Even though I have the train moving and applying power right now, you're going to notice I'm not able to move the throttle at all. But as soon as I turn this on, the throttle will move just fine. So we want to keep that on while we're not applying power. We'll leave it on for right now. Next to that, we have an indicator. I don't believe that does much for us. But that thing next to it is useless. But underneath, you have the brake pressure gauge. As you move the brake pressure, you're going to notice that it goes down and goes back up as needed. So that will show us how much brake pressure is being applied. And 3 more things. So the next one is the horn right underneath the speedometer here. The speedometer, we know what that is. It's a 2-tone horn, but you're going to notice the second tone does not move the horn handle. It just stays steady, but then the regular tone does that. So you can see it move on the regular tone. I believe that again is fixed on the Armstrong model with a two-tone horn. So the second tone will probably move it in the other direction. We'll look at that later. Speedometer, as I said, is right underneath, and then we have the reverse, which you already saw moving over here. That is the reverse right here, now in reverse. And you can see the throttle over there, by the way, is a notch. It looks like a notch throttle, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think it does operate as a notch throttle if I remember correctly. So there is the main data for this train. You can see the sunflower lamp over here, and you can see the phone, which does nothing. And the NRN radio doesn't do anything here either. You can see a fire extinguisher, which also does nothing. And if you want to know why I did not want to show you the other view to start off the train here, here's why. This train was programmed way back before the views became a thing, so you can zoom in just fine. But the main view just looks like garbage. So you can zoom in from this view and it's fine. But when you do this, you're going to notice it looks really bad. So this is a situation where you don't want to use the full view. You want to zoom in a little bit if you want to keep the full view on your train. But the other option is just go ahead and use this view. You're not going to have a problem moving around the cab. You're just fine. You can't look behind you, by the way. There's no way to look behind you unless you do the hop outside the cab view, which does this. Then you can see that there's absolutely nothing behind you. So there's no reason to turn around anyway. And if you go through the wall, there's the passenger cabin right there, which you can also get by pressing 5. And now you can look freely around the passenger cabin and out the window, and you can't look behind you again. Well, there you go. So, yeah, there's the Class 456, the default one that comes with the route. We'll take a look at the upgrade version when we get to that one in a scenario. For now, let's get started on this scenario, shall we? Dispatch. You're running this 1552 departing service from London Bridge to London Victoria. Allow passengers to board here at London Bridge, then wait for the signal to clear before proceeding. Guys, don't play this one. I'm just going to tell you right now, don't play this scenario. I am already not enjoying it. The timings are way too tight, and I don't think they can be achieved in a clean run of the scenario. I've already tried going up to Forest Hill, and then the game just kept giving me a drive quality penalty trying to leave fast for the next station. So you do not want to play this scenario. I don't think you're going to enjoy this one. So I'll give it a good try, though, and see what happens. There is some departing activity and some arriving trains as well coming in at the station. You're going to notice the service to London Cannon Street going over there. There's also a service to London Bridge, which is where we are coming in. We're starting at London Bridge. So those are the two immediate services here. We have a clear signal, but we're not going or a clear to go indication. We're not going to be able to go anywhere yet. So let's just poke our head out the window. By the way, headlights need to be turned on. And while we have an opportunity, let's just make sure the instrument lights are on. Okay, they're on. So we're going to reset our view, and then I'm going to poke our head out the window again. As we look at that train going by, that is a service to London Bridge coming in. You can see a Charing Cross service over there leaving for Charing Cross, obviously. Where else is that going to go? And if I can get my reverser to go up, I can move. There we go. So we are now on our way, heading for our first stop at New Cross Gate, leaving London Bridge. And I meant to turn that off, but I forgot to turn that off. So it's off now. Going to get up to 20 quickly. Now, the reason that I'm going to say you're going to hate this scenario is because you have to actually get yourself up to a fast speed as much as you can before you actually have to slam the brakes. You actually have to use those areas where there's a faster speed limit now and use them as much as you can. And then be willing to slam those brakes to get down in time for a slower speed. You have to do that. Otherwise, there's no way you're going to be on time for this scenario at all. And as soon as you get behind at one station, you're behind for the whole thing. So we're going to have to play this one basically pushing time as much as we possibly can. So I'm going to move up to P4 right now. And we're going to be cruising at green signals all the way to our first stop at New Cross Gate. And you're going to notice that I'm going to be screeching the train to a halt a lot in this scenario. There's not anything I can do about that. I have to take advantage of every second I can. So I'm going to be screeching that train to the stop quite a bit. Hopefully by the end of the scenario it's a little bit easier as we come towards London Victoria, but I'm not convinced, knowing what I've seen in the past in this game, I'm not convinced that's going to be happening. So we are going at a 60 for a while. You can see there is a 45 coming up before our stop. It's actually well before our stop because we still have 2 miles to go. Normally 3 minutes for 2 miles is not bad, especially at these speeds, but we are going to have a junction at 25 at some point coming up to the station as well. So we have to take advantage of every second we can at as fast speed as possible. We're going to be doing that now. That 25 is going to be fun. So I made it up to 55. I stopped at 51 last time. I'm even crossing 57, but now I'm at the signal. This is the signal before the speed limit change, so I do need to start dropping now, and I will do that. Came off a little too quickly, so I eased off the brakes for a moment. Now we're going to bring it down the rest of the way to 45. There we go. That's going to have to do. And as soon as I can go back up to 60, which I'm not going to reach anyway, I'm going to apply as much speed as I can to maintain as much time as I can. That way we can try to get a good start on the scenario and avoid having any serious timeliness problems. There's our warning for the double yellow, flashing double yellow you see up ahead. So we're not going to get a lot of time going at the faster speed, but we have to take advantage of it. We might get up to 50 before we have to hit the brakes. You see New Cross Gate is coming up. We are technically 2 minutes away from that, 1 minute and a half. Now that we're getting the warning, I've eased off the throttle. I'm going to start putting the brakes on because I need to get that down to 25 in time. So I'm doing a minimal brake for right now. I will do a stronger brake as we get closer to the 25. Actually, I might be doing a little too much braking right now, so I'm going to keep that speed for a moment. Now we're going to go ahead and lower the speed a bit. That yellow signal does mean the next signal could be red, by the way. We don't know that yet. But it could be green as well. So I'm not feeling confident about this stop up here. We're going to see what we can get. I want to get as far on the platform as we can before I have to stop. I can reapply a little bit of speed as we come into the platform now, so I will take advantage of that. We are at a 60, but I'm not going to have a lot of chance to do that. I actually have to hit the brakes. I'm going to use a full service brake because we are at the second right now, and every second counts in this scenario. So let's bring it to a quick stop. Ease it off to make the passenger comfort a little better, and open the doors at New Cross Gate, platform number 2. Leaving New Cross Gate, our next stop is Brockley. You can see that the reason I'm not liking the timings in this scenario immediately, we have to be there at the half minute. That means we only have about, I don't know, 20, 25 seconds to actually come to a stop after that time. We don't have the full minute like we're used to. So we're going to have to rush in here and hope that we don't lose too much time. We have a full minute to make our stop, so in theory this should be possible. In theory. This is why I said if you get behind, you're going to stay behind. They don't give you any chance to catch up in this scenario. Taking a quick look at the itinerary, you can see that we have a whole schedule of very, very tight stops all the way to London Victoria at 1640, which I think is actually, check that again. Yeah, there's not even a gap there. We don't even have a red signal there. It's just tight stops all the way every 4 minutes. Do a little bit of preliminary breakdown to 35, and then we'll go ahead and ease it down as we come in. We should be good for coming to a stop here. Okay, I'm going to hold it there for a moment as we enter the platform, and then I'll screech it down. We have a little bit of time, so I'm taking advantage of the chance to go along the platform. Alright, we are good for this stop. This should be probably right on time. So I'm happy with this stop. Let's get those doors open and lock that in. There we are, arrival at Brockley, platform number 2. Leaving Brockley, our next stop is Honor Oak Park. A little trap here if you try to leave too quickly, by the way, and this seems to be a problem in several stops in this scenario. Don't try to go up to a P4 throttle too quickly, otherwise you will get dinged with a very undeserved drive quality penalty. I don't understand why they give you such tight timetables and penalize you like that. Like, in real life, you would be okay being a minute late, but here they grade you for it. I don't understand. So in any case, our next stop is Honor Oak Park. Make sure you don't go to P4 too quickly or you will be penalized. Apparently that's bad. And it makes sense why that would be bad, but in the context of how this game is running scenarios, no, it's not good. So we should be on time for this stop easily. We have the time for this stop. But again, like I said, if we let ourselves fall a few seconds behind, that will go all the way along the scenario. So we have to make sure we use our time properly at every single stop here. So we are able to make it up to 42 in this segment. We're going to go ahead and ease off the throttle now because we are going to want to brake shortly. I probably should have pushed it just a little bit more, but I think I might be okay. Okay, I need to start braking so we can get down to 30 at the entrance to the platform, which is just what I did. Perfect. I'm in the platform at 29. I'm going to increase that brake. You're going to notice I am going to use the full service brake on this one because I feel I have to be able to pull the time right now. But I try to ease it off to make it easier for the passengers as we come to a stop. Just like that. So arrival at Honor Oak Park. We're about 4 seconds late, but we should hopefully be okay. Leaving Honor Oak Park, our next stop is Forest Hill. You'll notice again I waited 10 miles per hour to apply P4. You will get a problem at this station leaving too quickly as well. So there you go. Drive quality penalties everywhere in this scenario. This is why you can't run tight timetables in this game, guys. This is why you can't do it. Scenarios, you don't care about drive quality. Looks like some stuff along the side of the track there. Not sure what that all is about. So our arrival time is 16:04:45. We are going to be well on time for this, which is good because we don't have a lot of time after the 45 to work with. So we should be well on time here. And there's Sydenham Hill up there. So I've eased off the throttle. I need to start applying brakes now because I'm coming in way too fast. So I put a step 2 brake on for a moment to bring it down a little. There we go. Keep it on step 1 for right now. We have lots of time for this stop. I'm not concerned. So you'll notice I'm just releasing the brake because I used a step 2 brake to slow down a little quickly, but I'm going to use that step 2 brake again. I'm going to be very early. I'm going to the end of the platform because I'm very early here. Yeah, I am way on time for this one. Look at this, guys. Arrival at Forest Hill right at the end of the platform, right where I want to be. Leaving Forest Hill, our next stop is Sydenham, after what is probably the best stop of the day so far, without question. So we have to be at Sydenham by 16:07 and 15 seconds. Once again, those 15 seconds matter, apparently. We have a flashing yellow signal up ahead, probably a double yellow. There's the ramp for it. We're not concerned about it because we're going to be stopping before the junction change anyway, and then we're going to worry about that junction change when we leave Sydenham. Pardon me for a second, I might actually have a cough here. There we go. Told you it was coming. Don't feel bad. I warned you. So now we're going to start braking because they're coming in way too fast for the station at this point, which is actually better because we can come to a stop better than we can speed up sometimes. That was a bit of a bump. Being warned of the junction change up ahead. We don't care right now. We're actually very early, so I'm going to crawl to the end of the platform here. Geez, I thought I said this was a very tough stair to keep the time, guys. Apparently I can actually do it. Who knew? That's good enough for getting to the end of the platform, so we've arrived at Sydenham, platform number 2. Dispatch. There is a delayed service to London Victoria due to leave Crystal Palace platform 4 soon. You will be following the service all the way to Victoria, so keep an eye on the signals. Roger. Don't like it, but Roger. Maybe this will ease up our schedule a little bit, knowing that we have to follow a service. So we've left our 20-mile-per-hour limit. We're now taking the junction off this line over to Crystal Palace. We have a 40 coming up as well, so we're going to be able to speed up to that 40 and no faster. I'm taking a little bit too much time getting up to that speed, by the way. We are a little less than a mile away from Crystal Palace. We do have 3 minutes to get up there, though, so it's not too bad. We might have yellow signals to work with. Coming up to the 40 now, so we're going to have to hold our speed as we come up this hill. A 1 in 100 gradient. One of the early achievements I picked up, by the way, was an achievement for a very, very steep grade, like a 1 in 40 or something like that. I don't remember the exact gradient. But it's actually an achievement for just driving the train on a scenario and coming upon that gradient. You get an achievement for that gradient, which is kind of funny. Okay, since I should have enough time here, I'm going to see what's happening with the signals. We do have a yellow, so I'm going to ease off the speed a little bit to give me time to stop because that next signal is very close. That is a single yellow signal, so we do have to wait for this service to leave Crystal Palace. We do have a red. I'm going to pull up as much as I can to see if and come to a stop as quick as I can because I want to try and show you the service of Crystal Palace. So I'm going to try and get that for you. So we're going to come to a stop on this lovely, lovely bridge here. We're just going to stop on the bridge. All right, let's take a peek ahead at Crystal Palace, shall we? So the Crystal Palace service has just left. We now have a yellow heading into Crystal Palace ourselves. The platform that train left from is the platform that we have to use. We now only have about a minute to make our stop. So this did tighten our arrival time considerably. Pardon me, guys. As I'm recording this, I'm still recovering from COVID. I do have my negative test, thankfully, so I don't have it anymore. But I still have the coughing effects from it. Those do last for a little while, I'm told, after you kick the illness out of you. Possibly by the time you actually see this video, those symptoms will be gone, but I need to record ahead a little bit, so you are going to get a little bit of the coughing. Sorry about that. So we should be on time for this stop. I would say right on time if I can get the brakes on a little quicker. But we'll take a couple seconds here, I believe. That's fine. Arrival at Crystal Palace, platform number 4. Leaving Crystal Palace, I'm actually a little confused because I'm loading from a save game and I had a double yellow when I initially left here. I'm now under a green signal, so I don't know what's going on here. It's like the train I was supposed to follow just disappeared. But in any case, we are on our way to our next stop at Gipsy Hill, and hopefully the signals rectify themselves as we go along, because I have a feeling we could crash into this guy. No, there's a yellow. We're good. So we probably should have had a double yellow there. That probably was accurate. We can now speed up as well, so let's go ahead and get up to 50 miles per hour, at least as much as we can. So maybe the train somehow moved a little quicker since blowing the snare. I don't know how that happened, but apparently it did. So it's a double yellow right now, which means maybe that green wasn't accurate. Maybe the signal just didn't update previously when I needed it. You can see the tunnel wall, so it looks like there's a bit of an occlusion area there where two tunnels meet. Either that or that's a detail in the tunnel, I'm not sure. That actually scared me for a second. I thought I was running into something. That's why I pulled the throttle off in worry. There is a single yellow. We cannot go beyond the end of the platform right now, which is fine because we're stopping at Gipsy Hill anyway. It is our next stop. We have to arrive in 1 minute. Because we can't go past the platform, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of brakes on right now to make sure we have control coming in. Nice little entrance to Gipsy Hill here. I like this. Oh, the signal just turned yellow, so we can pass the platform now anyway, but we have time to make our stop, and we have to make our stop, so we will do that first. Ah, there's another advertisement for the finale. Lovely, lovely. We're going to pull up to the 8-car stop gradually, because why not? Why did I put the throttle back on? That was odd. Anyway, arrival at Gipsy Hill. And open the doors a little early. Leaving Gipsy Hill, our next stop is less than a mile away at West Norwood. We have about 3 minutes to make that stop. We are leaving under a single yellow signal, so we can't go too quickly. Indeed, going too quickly would make us really early anyway, so we're going to just go ahead and take it easy at about 25 miles per hour. Make sure the signal ahead is indeed clear. The yellow signal leaving the station means that the train was ahead of us was still at West Norwood. It had not left at the time that we left the station. We have a 35 speed limit coming up and also a 20, so I'm going to slow down anyway because I think we have a red signal here. I would say that is definitively a red signal. That is most certainly a red signal. It is now a yellow signal. So the train has left West Norwood and passed the signal at the end of the platform. That means we are allowed to continue. I'm going to take advantage of a little bit of extra speed here while I can. I don't really need to, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know the timings have been atrocious at the start of the scenario. So we're just going to take what we can. 35 is our limit. Might as well use some of it, right? There's our warning for the 20th, so we should slow down now anyway. We're good for time anyway. I don't care too much at this point. Oh, a little leg. Don't like that. Brakes don't want to work. There's another train coming the other direction, probably heading where we came from, actually. A little bit of a downhill here, 1 in 69. That is really adding speed to our train. So I brought the speed a little bit under our 20 speed limit. We are going to still coast in at 20 because that's a lot of time to come to a stop. But the downhill is going to affect our braking power. You can see the yellow signal at the end of the platform. That is okay. I don't want to overshoot, but we can now. Get a little bit more braking power on there so I can just coast in gradually where I want to stop. And I think right here next to the information board is probably a good place to stop. Right here. So brakes are on. Let's open the door at West Norwood. Leaving West Norwood, our next stop is Streatham Hill. And Streatham may sound familiar to you. We are about to cross the Sutton and Mole Valley line. Tulse Hill will be to our right if we were to go onto that line, and Streatham itself will be to our left. You're probably familiar also with Streatham Common, which we have seen on the London to Brighton route as well, which is why that sounds familiar. We're going to be continuing on the straight path here. Why I took the throttle down, I don't know, but we're going to continue on the straight path, and that's going to take us to Streatham Hill, which is a little over a mile away. We have 3 minutes to make this stop, so the timings have gotten a little more casual for this part of the run, which I'm not going to complain about, because the start of this scenario seemed a little bit too rushed. We probably need another minute there to be more comfortable, but it did seem rushed. So our speed limit right now is 30. That means I'm going to try not to exceed 30, which, you know, makes natural sense. But the train is trying to make us do it, so I have to take a couple miles off. The 1 in 264 gradient is affecting me, but now I'm actually losing speed. So there you go. There's a double yellow because we're still following that train. We did get a green signal as we left the station, so we got to hear that lovely ding. Again, we're going to have a single yellow coming up here. We did cross the Sutton and Mole Valley line back there. We can go 50 now, so I should probably speed up a little bit. But we do have a yellow signal. Mind you, the signal is at the platform anyway, so we can basically do what we need to do here. We should be okay. Have a minute to make this stop. That should be good enough speed for doing it, since we're going to have a red at the end of the platform anyway. Might be yellow when we reach it. We're on a 1 in 99 gradient now. That is actually going to affect my stopping ability here, so I need to actually put a step 2 brake on, or I'm not going to be able to come to a stop. We do have a yellow signal at the end of the platform now. We can ease off the braking now as we cruise in, because we do have time to make the stop. We just have to make sure we stop before the end of the platform. That's all we have to do. Once again, I'm giving you a step 2 brake to help me with that. Easing back to a step 1 for a moment. I actually am going to need to keep that step 2 when I come to a stop. Okay, slow enough now that I can just slow down. This will do nicely. Arrival at Streatham Hill, platform number 1. Leaving Streatham Hill, our next stop is Balham. Does that sound familiar, guys? We're rejoining the London to Brighton route at the next stop. So the rest of the journey, with a little leg there, the rest of the journey is the London to Brighton route. We're going to be rejoining the Brighton Main Line. We have a 30 speed limit coming up, so let's not overdo it as we get excited about rejoining at Balham. So we're not going to overdo this. There's a train over there. It is not a service. It looks like it's just a stock that's sitting there, so there's no service attached to that. We have to make our stop at 16:26:55. That's a little worrying. Or is that 28? I didn't mean to do that. It is 26. We should be able to make that stop in time, but we have absolutely no room for error up there. So we have to make sure we stay at our 30 limit all the way along here, because we're not going to get a lot of time to move up to 40. I probably should have gone a little faster before we hit the 30 as well. That looks like a building in the middle of the track. Is that a wash? That might be a wash building. Is that a train wash? That might be a train wash. Or some kind of brake checking building. I don't know. That's a yellow up ahead for us. I can see it in the sky, so that is very clearly a yellow. We're going to speed up a little bit as we come in here. That's another train that's about to go by, going to Streatham Hill itself. That will do for our stop, I believe. We have 40 seconds. Yeah. It's a yellow. Getting a step 2 brake here because I'm trying to come in fast. Again, just use every second. We are rejoining the Brighton Main Line. So we are now officially on that line again. As soon as we move up here past the station, we are fully on the line. The line is coming on. The Brighton Main Line uses the track to the left as it comes in. So we're rejoining right after the station. Leaving Balham, our next stop is going to be Wandsworth Common. You can hear the glorious bells of the Church of Cuju somewhere nearby. As we are on the Brighton Main Line, I know from experience the speed limit on the Brighton Main Line is 60 miles per hour coming up to Clapham Junction. So that is going to be our speed limit continuing along here. And the rest of this route is exactly the same as the London to Brighton route. So if you don't want to see that part again, well, thanks for riding. I'll see you for the next scenario. But I hope you stay with me to see how we end up doing at the end of this scenario. Plus, we haven't actually seen this in a 456 yet. So a little different. So our next stop is literally, oh no, I don't like this. We're just going to go ahead and use a step 2 brake right now. I'm going to actually move it up to full service because I do not like the timing on this stop at all. This could be a costly stop. Let's see what happens here. I might be good. So we have arrived at Wandsworth Common, platform number 2. leaving Wandsworth Common, our next stop is Clapham Junction. Even though I was on time for that, seriously, why couldn't that be a 16:29 stop, guys? Would have been a little bit of a better stop there. But, yeah, we made the stop on time. We're going to continue without complaining. Clapham Junction is our next stop. Then we're going to be going... do we stop at Battersea Park on this train? We do. So we are going to stop at Battersea Park on the way to London Victoria. We have a 20 coming up to Clapham Junction, so we're going to go ahead and take advantage of the speed we can up until that point. The 20 is right before the platform. Looks like we're not following that service anymore, which I thought we were. I'm actually happy if we're not, because we can use a different platform. We might be getting a different platform for this, then we have to connect back behind the other service again, probably. No, we're following it. We have a yellow. Or it's a warning of the 20, I'm not sure. Two minutes to our arrival at Clapham Junction. Which seems good until you know we're going to be slowing down to 20. Oh, I didn't want to do the zoom out there. That's probably a little too fast for my blood right now. So we're 0.3 of a mile away from the 20 speed limit. We could push this a little more if we want to for speed. And I'm going to do exactly that. So let's start slowing down a little bit now. There's a train leaving. We do now have a double yellow. That was the last warning we received. I think I do need a step 2 brake for just a moment, so I'm going to do that. And we should be down in time now. Excellent. Perfect. We don't have any downhill gradients, so we can just cruise in at this point and come to a stop. This will be absolutely ideal. We actually have a full minute to make our stop too, so this is actually working really well for this stop. Which further begs the question, why was the other stop not 16:29 even? Like, come on. I think our signal is the double yellow. It doesn't matter because we're stopping anyway. And we have a green now anyway. So, oh, there was our 4-car stop. We're only 2 cars, so we're kind of really pushing it here. But we'll do it. This guy's waiting here for us. We'll stop right next to him and pick him up. Hello, sir. You're welcome to board. Doors are open. There you go. Arrival at Clapham Junction. And there's a train leaving in the distance as we get ready to make our next departure in just a moment. Leaving Clapham Junction, stopping today at platform 14. We're now on our way to Battersea Park. We are still under a 20-mile-per-hour speed restriction, so we must respect that until we get out of the station area. I believe that is the signal box building for Clapham Junction. Not sure if they still use that or not, but with the new electric signals, probably not. Look at that advertisement over there. I don't think I saw this one on the London to Brighton route. This is new. All the coffee cups with trains on them. It's like your menu of trains you can play in Train Simulator. That's basically what it is. It is your train menu for Train Simulator. Get back in the cab and respond to that before it's too late. .45 is our limit coming up to the lift up into London Victoria, and this is now a permanent low speed limit here, so we're not going to be getting back to 60 anywhere along this journey. If we went to Waterloo, we might, but can't tell you. I haven't actually been to Waterloo yet. So it might still be 60 until you get close to Waterloo, when you go through Vauxhall or whatever is up there. Oh, actually, this is a little tighter than I thought it was going to be, guys. I'm not sure I'm going to like this stop. Or is that a 36 or a 35? Oh, it's a 36. Okay, you know what? I will ease it off. This is actually okay. I thought that said 35 for a moment, so I was thinking this is going to be a bit of a tight one, but no, it's 36. We're good. And it's 1640 for London Victoria. So you're climbing a bridge now. We're crossing over the entire line to Waterloo at this point. So now that I figured out how to make those initial stops on this scenario, I'm going to change my... excuse me. I'm going to change my opinion and say that, yeah, this might be an okay scenario to play if you like that challenge. It turns out it is easily possible. I just didn't know how easily possible. You saw another train over there. London Victoria train over there. Look at that. I brought up 2 trains while trying to bring up 1. There you go. So arriving at Battersea Park, I should point out again that this station has also changed with the sands of time. There's actually some platforms at this station that are now closed, I understand, and aren't used for any trains. So I guess there's not as much train traffic here as was either predicted with this route or as there used to be with this route. I'm not sure which is the case. But I guess they mothballed a couple platforms there and they don't use them anymore. Closed off and everything. I think they're the ones on the right, but I could be wrong on that. So arrival right on time for Battersea Park platform 4, maybe 2 seconds early. Leaving Battersea Park, we get the emergency vehicles driving around London. There you go. We have a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit coming up as we enter the home stretch into London Victoria. We can go a little faster right now. We have 3 minutes to work with to go a mile, so we'll use a little bit of that time. The 20 sign is half a mile away, so we have a little bit of time to use. Especially because we have green signals. So with that being a green signal, we only have 2 more signals. That means the next signal has to be a double yellow signal. It cannot be a green signal. So that is our last green signal. That means also that because that signal is green, our path is clear into London Victoria platform 9. You can see it on the HUD up ahead. So we are clear to enter. As I said, that has to be a double yellow signal. It will not be green. Ever. We're now down to 20. We're probably going to have some downhill to work with here. So we're going to have to... yep, I see the hill. I know it's downhill coming into the underground section as you go under the roads here. And there is the speed really jumping up there. So I need to put a little bit of brakes on to keep my speed under. We do have 2 minutes to make our stop, so we should be ideal. We have half a mile to go. 1 in 62 downhill gradient coming in, it looks like. Once again, this signal cannot be anything better than a single yellow. It is the final signal guarding entry into London Victoria. So you are expected to come in at caution as you enter the terminus. And there are panels on the platforms that will stop you and put an emergency brake on if you come in too fast. I just got a South London Network adding up the miles achievement. It's listed as part 1. So I'm going to assume doing the other snares we're going to probably get enough miles to get part 2. And if we don't, then maybe the 455 snares or something else will drive us over in the part 2 one. I'll have to look up that part 2 to see what it is. We're now on level ground, so I'm going to go ahead and move the speed up to 20 for right now. I'm going to bring it back down to about 10 as we enter the platform. We have about 30 seconds or so to before we have to really have the brakes applied. I don't know if we're going to get all the way to the back of the platform or not. It doesn't really matter if we do. We just have to make our stop on time and call it a day. But we do have to put some brakes on now to make sure that panel doesn't trigger an emergency brake on us. I don't know if they're active on this route or not, but why take the chance? I'm going to push just a little bit in here, but not too much. Gonna get far enough past the entrance to this platform, and then I'll come to a stop. Actually, the station building is right here, so we're gonna go ahead and stop at the station building. That will do the job. So we're gonna stop right here just to make sure we do get marked as being on time. We should be okay, but I don't want to push it too much just in case. So arrival right here. And that is our journey to London Victoria completed. Let's look at this train as we finish this scenario, and let's see if I gambled correctly on that. So that was a little more adventuresome at the start than I wanted. In fact, I was actually screaming because I didn't think it was possible, but turns out that is a very easily possible scenario, and I did not realize how easily possible it was. So now I know, and I can actually recommend that if you want a challenge, go ahead and play this. It is doable. So just be prepared. If you're late on that first stop, you are going to be late for several stops. So you have to make sure you use every second you can early in this scenario. Otherwise, you're going to have problems being on time for the rest of it. So you can kind of catch up by the time you pass Sydenham Hill, though. So you get a little time back at least. I got another achievement here for the scenario. Within the Limits is the name of this achievement. Well done, driver. Hopefully the run after Crystal Palace was not too disruptive for you. In fact, that was the better half of the run. Prepare for your trip back to London Bridge. No, I want a break. I'm taking a break. Let's look at the scoring screen. So there's our 1,000 points gained. I got the score fully there, so I gambled to move up a little bit and stop where I did pay it off. I could have probably gone a little further, but like I said, it's not worth gambling your points away. So, unlock South London Network, adding up the miles part 1. That was the one I mentioned. I don't know what this other one is. It's probably just saying that I stayed within the speed limit for this scenario. In fact, maybe I can find a quick answer on that if I bring up my Steam overlay, and hopefully you don't see this. So looking at the achievement, it does say that the other scenario achievement is awarded for completing scenario Outer Southern Service without speeding. So yeah, basically I stayed within the speed limit. So I stayed within the speed limit. That's all we need to know about that. I'm a good driver. Yay! Okay, I'll stop that. In any case, we have one more 4, 5, 6 scenario to do next time, and that is going to complete our 4, 5, 6 scenarios. That scenario is called Stopper to the Bridge. It's a slightly shorter scenario. We're driving to London Bridge, the first train of the day, so it's going to probably be a little bit darker outside than this scenario. We're calling all stations again all the way to London Bridge next time. So stay tuned for that next time. Stopper to London Bridge, or Stopper to the Bridge is what it's called. And that is our next scenario. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And make sure you join the Discord server as well if you want to chat with me and bring up ideas for things to do. I want to know what you guys want to see because I want you to come back and watch me do it. I have lots of DLCs, so just ask me if I don't have something. I'll see what I can do to get it. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. And if the next scenario is published, which should be tomorrow, as I'm publishing this, so if the next scenario is already on my playlist, like I said last time, go ahead and bring it up on a television screen and just let the videos play one after another. It's a good way to pass some time and get some free entertainment. You don't have to pay for a TV service, which I don't yet. Maybe one day when I have a job and I want to unwind, I'll do it. But for right now, I don't need it. So I'm not doing it. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever for your part of the world. The next scenario will be starting on my playlist in 3, 2, 1.